Hello, good evening everyone. My name is Dipanshu and today I have come up with a new video series which is a complete video series on Kubernetes Reddit team lab which I took almost more than 1.5 months for designing this lab which is a complete realistic APT style lab in which you will find an entry point of a web application landed onto a pod compromising the container, from compromising the container to the host, data exfiltration, and so on. And I have also added a lot of other vulnerabilities which I will walk you through for this particular lab. But before going forward, I would really like to thank you everyone for giving so much of love to my videos, and I'm getting a lot of good comments on my LinkedIn and some and other places as well that my videos are very simple and straightforward to understand, because this is my style of presenting. Even when I'm doing the presentations, or even long back when I used to do these types of activities or these types of workshops which I used to take, I always like to keep my things simple, straightforward, so that even that somebody who has a basic understanding of something, they can easily understand everything, because not everyone will understand the hardcore language and the hardcore technical stuff. So this particular lab series, why I have built it, because a few months ago, I was actually planning to brush up my Kubernetes pen testing skills, and I wanted to embed that particular Kubernetes pen testing into the threat hunting lab. And I have actually published a Kubernetes threat hunting lab, which is how in a real time scenario we will perform the threat hunting. But that is just only one lab. That doesn't cover each and everything. But then I thought, why not surf internet? There must be some other labs that will be presenting Kubernetes, Kubernetes red team or Kubernetes misconfigurations or pen testing. But honestly, every lab whichever I have found online have given me just bits and pieces, like some pieces of some puzzle. But some labs were very great for learning basic misconfigurations. Others just focus only on the detection. Even though I had already built tools for Kubernetes threat hunting and Docker forensics, it was all felt, fragmented. So what I thought, why not build something which finally brings each and everything together under one umbrella, means one lab that does each and everything: offensive attacks, which has the real CVEs, which we have seen in the past, that how the Kubernetes clusters were being compromised, how the attackers were able to take control of that, whether it was a team TNT or some other hacking groups who control the whole Kubernetes cluster. I have added their APT style attacks in this particular lab as well. And of course, in the end, that each and every activity should be logged. I was doing one project with some team where they have built their application on the Kubernetes cluster. But when they have integrated the Kubernetes cluster with their SIM solution, they were not able to get the log, they get full logs in their Kubernetes cluster. So while investigating, we identified that there are some that the Kubernetes cluster is not properly configured. Otherwise, each and every activity that you perform, even on a small pod or a small container, even if you have deployed the Docker or in that, or if it's a single node architecture, or even if it's a multi node architecture where you have the worker nodes working for the master node, every single activity should be logged. It should not be the case that some activities are being logged and some activities are not being logged. So in this lab, I have used the open source SIM solution using Grafana, Loki, Falco, and Promptail, which will cover each and every action and log each and every action in the SIM solution, and then we will showcase how we can set up the alerts. I have created sample detections as well for each and every activity. And yes, so this was the idea, and that is why KubePwn was born. I have named it specifically KubePwn, which means Cube is short form for Kubernetes, and Pawn means spawning basically. When we spawn a shell or when we compromise something, we generally call it as the spawner. So KubePwn was a name which I really, struck me a lot. And this lab is fully open source, which will simulate red and blue team lab, which will give you a feel of real world APT style chain attacks and teaches how to detect them like a pro. Okay, but just as a disclaimer that this lab is not for commercial purposes. I have seen people using my labs, whether it is on Docker or whether it is on Kubernetes and many other labs which I have published it. They are using it for commercial purposes, for even for teaching and all. If you're teaching, just give it as a reference that we have taken this lab from a reference. We have contacted those tutors online, and they have taken down their videos because of this issue. So this time we have kept it in the as a license itself, that yes, you are okay to go for use it. You want to collaborate with me, I'm very much open. Many people have come in the community. Many people have come to me that let's collaborate together and build something more. I am very open. I like collaborations. I like many people coming on one platform and giving ideas, and we develop together, and we have done that in past as well. So the same concept will apply here, but this is not for any commercial purposes. You cannot sell it. You cannot use it for teaching or anything. If you are teaching it, I am very open, but just give the credits over there. Okay. So this was just a disclaimer. And this is the banner which I designed using Photoshop and CorelDRAW. And after that, once everything was mixed together, then I put it in ChatGPT, and this is the final version of the image that ChatGPT provided. I just did some bits and pieces of adding like Kubernetes, logo here, Kubernetes logo here, so that we can get a real life feeling. Right? An attacker is actually using something, and he's trying to use it on the Kubernetes, and a defender is there which is defending the Kubernetes. So this lab is combined of three things. One is the red team lab, blue team lab, and what are the security misconfigurations which we can fix. So I have created a guide as well, which you can utilize, and you will be able to solve. But I would really suggest that you go like a complete black box. You read about Kubernetes, and then you will be able to compromise. So this lab is not for the beginners who have just started in Kubernetes. The basic skills required is Kubernetes for sure. That you have Kubernetes architecture understanding. You have done some deployments and all those things. You know the basics of attacks, like Avast top 10 you should know, and you should know the Kubernetes command line, so that you will be able to traverse into the Kubernetes, so that you understand what this configuration is for. Okay. So for example, like service mesh exploit. So you will be able to only exploit service meshes if you know how service meshes are talking, what exactly service mesh is, how Kubernetes design its own service mesh when it is, doing some maybe payments, or, deploying it under a Swift environment or payment gateways and so on. So if you understand that level of application architecture, you will be easily able to solve the labs. Otherwise, the videos which I will produce and the labs which I will share, the guides which I will share, it will cover each and everything. So no need to worry for that. You just need to have the basics of Kubernetes, and I will create a video on Kubernetes basics as well, so that you understand what exactly is going at the backend. So before going to that, this is the GitHub repository on which each and everything is deployed. Deploying is very easy. I have given the basics of it. How will you deploy? The best part about this lab is that this is a single click lab. You just need to click on one. You just need to run one command, and everything will be deployed automatically. If you want to tear down the lab, simple, sorted, straightforward. You can just press click button, press cleanup button, and everything will be automatically destroyed. So I started writing this blog on July 4th, but I'm publishing this on 16th July. In between, I have done a lot of changes in this. Nothing was being finalized. What should be the logos? What should be the banners? How everything, and a lot of other coding I was doing. So it was hell lot of roller coaster ride in last 1.5 months, where sometimes this code is not working, sometimes the Flask is not working, sometimes the containers are not working, sometimes the pod is automatically getting destroyed, sometimes the pod is automatically coming up. A lot of issues have happened in the code, but luckily everything is working fine. So 2 days back on Sunday, we finalized everything. I was actually planning to publish this last week, but I got very sick, and that is why we are publishing it. So KubePwn is the ultimate Kubernetes red and blue team lab, which is free and open source, but not for any selling purposes or any commercial purposes. So always remember, train like a red teamer, hunt like a blue teamer, and learn like a warrior. This is the banner. So this is the line which I intentionally wrote over here, but that because I was getting a lot of questions that the labs that are being available online, either you need to pay for the cloud or you need to pay for their labs, or you need to pay for the clouds because the API server which will be using it to communicate to the kubelet services, of course, the pod and the pods which are going to run at the backend along with the etcd in the master node, they are going to consume a lot of resources. So of course you need to pay for those resources. So when I was having chat in the community as well, so that is the concept which fits my mind. Why not design this lab that works completely on local? So that is why I wrote it. What if you could simulate a full-blown Kubernetes APT attack, detect it with open source tools, and train your red and blue teams all from your lab? So welcome to KubePwn, which is a fully open source local Kubernetes red and blue team lab designed for real world adversary, simulation and detection engineering. Why KubePwn? Because Kubernetes is everywhere, powering critical infrastructure, cloud workloads, SaaS platforms, but is always under attack. And we will see why. Because in past few years we have seen that team TNTs, cryptominers, siloscapes, which exploited the Windows Kubernetes escapes using container escapes. Attackers are moving faster than the defenders. So that is why we built KubePwn, a realistic APT-style attack and detection lab with offensive tactics, real-world defenses, and everything is mapped with MITRE TTPs and telemetry, and of course one command automation. Whether you are deploying it or whether you are tearing it down, everything is one command, activity. So this is not just any threat hunting or forensics lab or pen testing lab. This is the real world lab. The real world, the lab contains the real world scenarios for red teamers where the misconfigurations are there. For blue teamers, which they will detect the attacks using Falco and Loki. Cloud security engineers, and because the organizations, they just see the mapping, they just see the dashboards, what is being attacked, the flow diagrams, what was being activated, what was the misconfiguration, how it was attacked, what was compromised, and how we can secure it. And of course learners and educators. KubePwn will be deployed locally, which will turn your local machine into a battlefield. For every misconfiguration is exploitable and every attack is observable. This is the landing page. Once the Kubernetes will be deployed, this will be the landing page. I will give the demo as well, but if you just want to see how this looks like, oops. So this will look like this, your landing page. Let me open it. So this is the landing page which I have pasted over there. The landing page will cover the basic introductory of KubePwn lab, cyber kill chain model, that attacker will be there. You need to compromise your web application. So I have hosted a web application which is connected with multiple APIs at the backend and is hosted and is running under the Flask application using the Flask application in Python. Then you have metadata DB. So when I will go, so when I will start the course, these all questions like what Flask is, I will run through the coding basically. Otherwise, this video will go very long. This is just an introductory video for lab, how the lab works. We will deploy the lab and we will do the sampled demonstration as well for this lab. Then once it is compromised, the main task for you will be is to compromise the host on which the container is deployed. Once you compromise the container host, then you need to compromise You need to do another privilege escalation to compromise the main host on which the Kubernetes cluster is deployed. Once the Kubernetes cluster you have compromised, you need to do another privilege escalation find out to connect to the API server using the admin credentials or the admin tokens. Once you do that, you need to take another shell to exfiltrate data. But don't worry, at every stage I have kept some hints as well. The code that you are going to utilize, there will be certain hints that I have put it in between. So it will be easy for you to do it. So ready to launch the lab? There are 3 tabs that I have kept, which is launch instructions, about, and attack chain. These are the instructions, how the lab looks like, what is the lab architecture, directory structure, lab deployment steps, that you just need to run python 3 deploy.py. I have tested this. You need python 3 above python 3.10. Currently I'm using, if I'll show you, I'm using python python 3.13. It is working very fine. So anything above python 3 is okay. It will run on AT-80 port, but don't get confused with AT-80 port if you are not able to compromise certain misconfiguration. The misconfiguration is there, but I have kept it intentionally on some other ports as well, so that you get a real world gist. I wanted to run it on port 80, but then I thought, why not use AT-80 so that you understand why it was not working on this port and why it is working on that port. So when we will come to that level, we will see what exactly is happening at the backend. So I have added certain web application vulnerabilities like SSRF, RCE, SSTI, some Git repositories leaks, metadata exposure, and many more. So once you start exploiting it, you will get it. Your task will always be to get an entry point. Once you get the entry point, then you will be able to exploit it. Then there will be a post-exploitation arsenal in which I have kept a lot of vulnerabilities. One vulnerability is directly deployed using the lab. Others I have kept it in the bonus section because I could have added it in the same lab, but I wanted otherwise what you guys would have done is just exploit one vulnerability and leave others, because every vulnerability, the task is always to compromise the host and exfiltrate the data. So I kept it in the bonus, so you can just do the shell login to any of those labs, and you will any of those container hosts, and you will be able to exploit those. So I've added service mesh exploit, backdoor, daemons and backdoor, Docker in Docker, container escape, chit leak, lateral movement, metadata exfiltration, RBAC misconfigurations, and SSRF as well. And if you go to my app.py file on which everything is running, you will be able to understand the coding at the backend. Okay. So just giving you a gist of it, what exactly is there in the lab. Then we have advanced threat chain simulation, and then we have detection and hunting. We will do some demonstration of course. I have given some definitions, what is MITRE ATT&CK framework, cyber kill chain, and how KubePwn merges with attack and cyber kill chain. Okay. Then this is the attack chain simulation. Attacker will be sitting on his machine, will be able to access the malicious web application. I wanted to host mobile application. Then one of my friend, he gave me an idea that you will be start getting the questions why mobile app is not hosted on Play Store. Of course, I will not be able to put it on Play Store because I don't want to go to jail. Otherwise, I have to put signed certificates and all bunch of securities in this, and of course I will be put behind the bars. So that is why I didn't use the mobile application. But from web application side, you will get the complete real environment. So you will be landing on the shell pod. This shell pod will have root privileges or will not have root privileges, but those root privileges will not going to help you anyway. You need to find the vulnerabilities. You will still, even if you have the root privileges, that root will be very restricted. So you need to identify what could be the next step, where could I go? And very very interesting lab, very very designed on a real world environments, especially from my experience, which we have utilized during the compromising Kubernetes, where we struggled. I have put all my experiences in this, and then you will be landed onto something, and then you need to identify the host file system. Once you identify, you can get a root access and so on. So you need to exploit it. I just gave some small you know uh, commands which you can utilize it, but you just need the knowledge on kubectl. Once you are able to, you have the command line information of what we call Kubernetes, you will be able to solve the labs. Let's go a little further. This is fine. This is done. Yes, I wanted to make you read this because why KubePwn? Because Kubernetes is the backbone of modern infrastructure, and KubePwn, is security professionals are actually struggling to get practical experience in compromising and defending clusters due to complex setups and lack of real world scenarios. So this coupon is going to bridge the gap in between. So the problem, 68% of the Kubernetes clusters have critical misconfigurations from deadlock, and advanced attackers now target containers and service meshes. So what will be the solution? We have to create a lab which will simulate real world APT-style chains, not synthetic CVEs. Combine attack simulation with actual detection and forensics, and modular setup with zero cloud billing risk using deploy.py. So that even if you are taking some time to compromise some lab or some environment, you should not get billed for that. This lab is fully tested on Ubuntu 22.04 and Kali, and is working very fine. Make sure that you have updated the packages, and everything will be done automatically. So what makes KubePwn unique different? The same thing. Yep, these are the real CVEs which not limited to. Just I wanted to give the background of those CVEs which were there. That one is HTOM TLS bypass, CRO container escape, cluster compromise by RBAC misconfig. I have added each and every vulnerability over there, each and every misconfiguration. From my side, I have not missed any, but if you still see any misconfiguration is missed, which is based on your experience, which you guys might be experiencing it or compromising it, please do let me know. I am 100% going to collaborate with you, and I'm going to give you credit for that as well. Okay. So lab objective, same thing. We can skip this, and these are the my lab tools which I have used to build the lab. Kubernetes is set up using kind. Kubernetes cluster is set up using kind. Flask app will be running my vulnerable endpoint web application. Container vulnerabilities, you have many vulnerabilities in this. These are just some of them: DIND breakout, mesh hijack, metadata leaks, container escapes, etc. Then you have RBAC escalations, where you will privilege escalate using RBAC. Even if you get the SA, still you will need the uh, time to understand how this Kubernetes cluster is working to get the cluster admin takeover. Then you will get Falco, the detection part, which will be running the syscalls for the runtime detection, Loki and Promptail for log aggregation and forensic queries, Grafana for real-time MITRE dashboards. This is the lab overview. Same thing. These are the MITRE mappings. This is the what we call it as a sample cron job backdoor, which is similar to this. But I just wanted to give as an example that who is reading this particular lab. You just need to create a daemon set backdoor, which I named it as backdoor.yaml. You can embed cron jobs into this. And blue team detection, I have added one sample detection YAML file for basically for Falco. What you can do is I have added a lot of Falco samples for detection samples like container escapes, DIND, daemon set, lateral movement, RCE, sensitive file read, over token account, and so on. These are the Loki queries. This is one sample which I did for server-side template injection and is successfully getting detected. This is the lab architecture which I have already gone through this. So let's deploy the lab. Lab is very easy to deploy. You just need to git clone KubePwn. Oops, let me just deploy it. Done. Let me git clone it. Once you go into the lab, I hope you're able to see. Let me do this. cd KubePwn. Once you come into this, you will see the files. Okay, this is the flask file. This is the bonus cleanup.py. I wanted to give the log file so that you don't get surprises that a log file is being created. Then we have deploy.py. This is the Docker file to deploy certain things. I will come to all these things in future. Then this is the tool for kind to deploy it so that you don't need to download it. This is the prompt is static and templates just for the landing page and the coding design. So what you can do is you can just python 3 deploy.py and it will start deploying it. Okay, it is going to take a bit of time to deploy. Not much, but it's just going to deploy the dependencies. Let's wait for a few minutes. Let me just pause the video and I will come back on this. So here we go. Within few minutes, the KubePwn lab is deployed. If you want to see KubePwn get pods, here all my pods are running. Okay, don't worry about it. Once I will come to this chapter or this lab, I will explain why it is completed and what needs to be do. Or if you are able to figure it out, you will be able to solve it. Now to access the application is already accessible on port 8080. Let me show you. Okay, application is accessible. For Grafana, you need to forward the port. So let me just let me first decode the password to log into Grafana. So I have not kept the same password admin. I have given a command which will be used to decode the Grafana password so that everyone, if there is a multi-user environment, the password should not be shared in between, or you can log into Grafana. The admin credential should remain with the administrator, and the administrator should be able to give other users the credentials. You can create the member users in Grafana as well to give them access for practicing. But I wanted to keep it simple and different for unique for each and everyone. So I kept it like that. So here we go. This is my password for Grafana. Let me just go forward to this and I will be able to work Grafana successfully. This is there. Let me just make it a full screen so that it is visible fine. I need to delete this password and log in using the new password. Once I am logged in, you can go to explore. Oops, sorry. Once you're logged in, you need to set up the Loki first. You can go to dashboards. You can click on new. You can click on import. You can use the inbuilt Loki dashboard using the code 15141 and Loki will be automatically loaded. You can go to Loki. You can click on import. And here you go. All logs are getting pushed in. So let's do a small demo for RC. Let me just just do this. Who am I? ls, and I'm able to do this thing. So the lab is very much working. So let me do a small reverse shell and showcase that everything is working or not. Okay. So let me just VK 454. This is my same old port number that I'm using it from my college time, school time, basically when I started learning Metasploit. So I'll click on execute, and here we go. I got it. But in real world lab, this bash is not going to work. So you need to find another shell. You need to figure it out what type of shell I need to take. This shell is not going to give you any help because this is not a stable shell. So you need to find a stable shell for this. So who am I? Root. But am I actually a root? I don't think so. So you need to go and exploit it. But what I wanted to showcase that yes, we are uh, logging each and everything. So let me just job plus and let me just this, and here we go. We got cmd equal to bash and we got this. Here we go. Each and everything. So this is how I have set it up, that each and every activity which you are going to do on Kubernetes, it is going to find it out. Okay. Even if I'll do a cmd over here, it's going to give me that somebody has run the whoami command on this. Okay. So you can, let's suppose this is the URI on which your web application is redirecting to. Once you go and you can search for the logs and you can actually go and create the alerts as well. Okay. This I will also cover in my lab, that how we can set up the alerts, what this job is, how we can develop big command lines to basically query lines basically to identify the real world log, because this is just a very simple uh, very simple query which I run and it gave me information. But in real world scenario, this is the same. The log analyst, they will understand this is not how it works. So you need to be super smart and you need to know the query language. Then you will be able to query everything. So that's all. This is what I wanted to showcase it to you. That this is the lab which I designed. It has everything that a Kubernetes Red and Blue Team lab should have. And today I'm publishing this lab basically. It's not today, of course, on 16th I'm publishing this lab. I'm recording this video on 15th. So today I'm publishing this lab. Let's take it today 16th. And I hope you enjoy this lab. And if anybody wants to collaborate with me, please do connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn page. You can message me. You can subscribe me on YouTube. Star the repo, and if you like this project and the blog, just give me a clap. It really boosts me, and also I really want you to share this lab with each and every person. Maybe somebody has more ideas and somebody has because every person has a different skill set, and they might have a different might have faced some different scenarios in their organization while performing some red teams, or they might have during pen testing they might have got something interesting. If they want to share it, please do share with me. I'm very ready to collaborate with anyone. In future, a lab guide will be coming, which I'm going to upload it on Gumroad. Udemy course I'm planning, YouTube series I will be launching, and keep focusing on this because I'll be uploading a lot of video blogs as well on this. So that's all. Hope you enjoy the video and hope you like the lab as well. Keep hunting, keep hunting, and keep sharing your knowledge. Community is open for everyone. Please do collaborate. If you like the lab, please do give it a clap. Thank you everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of the